Hello, I'm John from Freelock, and today I am going to be going over how to build a dynamic code component to show a collection of cards using the new Drupal Canvas. Drupal Canvas is a new layout tool that's available in Drupal CMS 2.0. We have been liking using it a ton. It really changes how you build pages in Drupal. And it kind of inverts how you do things. So while Drupal, everything you had to build everything up as little bits and pieces from the content, Canvas turns that around and makes it a lot like other tools like Squarespace or Wix or WordPress, where you start with the front end and fill in the gaps in the back. We don't want to lose all of what makes Drupal great, however, so we have our own things that we want to do. So this is our new homepage. Still a work in progress. This is a local copy that I'm working on, and it's built landing pages using Drupal Canvas. So here's what Canvas looks like when you load it up. It can take a little bit to load all the JavaScript that's necessary, but here is the home page in Canvas. There's different sizes that you can show this at: desktop, tablet, and center, and see the outcome as you build it. Be able to place stuff on the page as you go. It's just a nice user experience as you go through and edit stuff. So for one-off chunks of text, you can edit it directly. This is all fine. This all works well. Our content editors are loving this with the amount of stuff that you can just try out and see live on the page how it affects it. When it comes to having a bunch of content from the rest of your site, though, it's not quite there. So for example, recent blog posts. Here's a view of blog posts. And to create this is basically an old school block of views block that we created and dropped on the page. And it looks good, but I don't have a whole lot of control over this. I could change the number of items that are in here. I can change the title. But I can't do things like give me all the blog posts for a particular tag. I want to build a landing page with posts related to migrations, possibly pull in our portfolio, some case studies related to that. And if I want to do that, what I end up having to do is build every single view that I want to show as a view and then publish it as a block and pull it into Canvas. And that just seems like a lot of extra work for the editor. So I was looking at, okay, what are the options that we can do here? If I want to go and be able to collect all the cards related to something, either a blog posts or our portfolio. I don't want to have to come in and edit and change a whole bunch of views, which is kind of the state that you get out of the box. The views interface, if you're used to Drupal, it's not that hard, but this is not approachable for a regular content editor. So going back to what we're trying to do here, we have basically a test page that is currently basically just a stub. So what I wanted to be able to do is drop in a collection of components. So here's our library, and what I have here is a collection, which I can filter. There's my node collection, and I can just drag that in. So it's here's the props that I've got. So it's going to load portfolio, tagged with Drupal. Now, this is a legacy site, so we have kept it up going from Drupal 6 to Drupal 7 to now up to Drupal 11, so that we could get Canvas on it. And we don't actually call our tags field tags. So this is one of the things that is not ideal, but what we have for a free tagging area is sort of a legacy of our migration. So I did basically specify a field name, and we have different ones for industries and our topics. But this allows us to sort of pick a specific one. So these are ones that are tagged Drupal. If I go to commerce, it can search for items that match commerce coming through ideally. If we look for migration, we want to build a landing page with migration content. And here we go. That is looking nice, although it could look better. I mean, my section that this is in is set to a theme of light. So one of the things that we did was we said, okay, we want to be able to have those stand out a little bit more. So I can make go from light to white. I think that ends up looking a little bit better. Although this is actually using the teaser. So one of the other things that we did is I went in and created a new template for the portfolio. And so right here, you can add a new template, pick your content type. Soon this will allow you to do other things like taxonomy or things like that. I have a view mode set up called embedded, and that is where I created the template. And so this embedded template, I'm able to edit right in Canvas. And so I was able to use the existing card component that we have and map the images to the screenshot, the title, processed summary assigned to the body text. Now, one of the gotchas here is that in traditional Drupal, you have a summary or trimmed. It'll take the first part of the body and trim it for you, unless if you haven't set a specific summary. That's not available in Canvas yet. So I did have to actually edit the content to get any summary content to show up here. Let's just change this to case study, because that would be a better fit for what we are showing here. And so after it refreshes a little, there we go. We now have our case studies. And if we go back to our test page, let's see if that, okay, so we are using the teasers. Now the teasers, I did use old school theming to put in, so those don't yet get edited within Canvas. So this is why I was testing a separate view mode. And here we go. Now we have our case study showing up. It's white. I could change those to our secondary color as well. And you can see what changes with the colors. Let's bump it up to say 4 for this, and it all is looking good. So that is the component we made, and we can go ahead and publish that, and then see in our front end. There we go. Now, one of the things that you'll see, there's the loading animation. The way we built this, the approach that we took was a combination of kind of old and new school approaches. So we defined our content type. The actual code component, I used open code with some Claude models to figure out and basically create the actual code. But I gave it quite a bit of guidance around how I wanted to do it. So the components that you can fill in, the form that you have to fill things in, is generated by the props. That's kind of where you start. Here's the different themes that are available in the dropdown, whether or not to filter on promoted to front page, which view mode do you want to use, how many do we want to show, what are the actual search things that you want to do, or the field, or the field name, and then the term that you want to search on, and what content type do you want to do. Those all get dropped into the code here. And this is making use of some built-in APIs from Drupal core, specifically the JSON API client and use SWR. Now, I didn't know much about these going in. I've used JSON API a ton with various projects, so I'm quite familiar with that, but not the specific libraries here. This is where coding in 2026, you don't necessarily need to learn that. As long as you're aware that it exists, you can make use of it. And so SWR is a tool that allows you to do stuff, and load content from JSON API. So the key parts here is the JSON API params. This is the what it's querying from the back end. So the idea here is, in our code component, we're going to put in the props, and the code component will go and query the back end and get a list of matching nodes. And this is basically all it takes to do that. It adds a filter for promoted if you've set that. It sets the tag and is doing a text search for the text value you do it. And then the use SWR kicks it off and gets the collection just automatically. So the second part of this is HTMX. And most of the code here is actually to make it work inside the Canvas editor as well as in the front end. So this little different contexts, I wanted to be able to see it in the preview. And so I ended up having to go around a few times to get this right. This is where the counting is done and selecting the theme. But this right here is the gist of what actually loads the content. So this is a JSX template that basically has a simple HTML structure to it, and it's iterating through the list of content that it got back and using HTMX to load it. This route for HTMX, so HTMX was added to Drupal 11, 11.2 or 11.3. So this is brand new in Drupal 11. However, it does not come with an easy way of loading nodes by or with a particular view mode. This endpoint is actually in the HTMX contrib module, so I did have to include that, but that's the only thing that I needed other than Drupal core to get all of this to work, that and the collection of components that are coming from the theme. So theming, while we're on that topic, we are using a DripYard theme from DripYard is a premium theme company that was founded by Mike Herschel and Andy Giles, who have done a ton of core work, and I highly recommend, if you need a quick way of getting started with Canvas, check out DripYard. It is well worth investing in a premium theme and getting a lot of your accessibility needs just handled for you. If you're using their themes, you're in good shape. So a lot of the other parts of this, the CSS that are in there, this actually needed to get copied into the components so that it all works with DripYard's components. But that's basically it. This is the gist of what we've got. So one thing to keep in mind with this is that the cards are loaded after the page is loaded. HTMX it runs in your browser, which means there is a bit of an SEO hit here. Search engines are not going to see this content on the page, so this probably isn't the ideal way of building, but it sure is convenient for now to be able to plug in stuff and get it working today and not have to wait for Canvas to catch up. That said, Canvas is maturing rapidly, so JS code components are powerful. You can do these today. This isn't the first one we've created. We've also done radio players for a radio station site and some other cool things. it's a useful technique to do. That said, there is a lot of activity happening right now on code components for adding an entity reference prop type. And basically where they're going with this is that we will very soon be able to load and embed an entity straight from Canvas itself. There's two issues here that we are watching and waiting for. This one has to do with the actual widget that allows you to pick an entity to show. And then the other is the general technique of showing these. So I'm not sure if this is going to make this code component that we just created obsolete, but that's definitely something to keep an eye on. So that said, this is working with Canvas as it is today. It is fully functional. It works in production. Canvas is actively working on features that'll make this even cleaner. This is the right place to be, though, we think, solving real problems now while staying aligned with the direction that Canvas is going, so that we're aware of it. If we can help you with any of this, please let us know. The web blog post that has this video has the download, so you can check it out and try it for yourself. If this is useful, please let us know, and we'll see if we keep on making videos here. Once again, I'm John from Freelock, and thanks for watching.